We don't have our regular students today. Omkar is not there. Tanvi. Lokesh. Let's see some of the formulas first. What are different ways to write the equation of a line? If we have slope and we have an intercept, then we can write y is equal to mx plus c. If we have slope and a point, we can use a slope point form, which is y minus y1 is equal to m into x minus x1. If we have 2 points on the line, we can use our 2-point form. And what is a 2-point form? X minus x1 upon x2 minus x1 is equal to y minus y1 upon y2 minus y1. We can also use our double intercept form. If I'm having intercept on x-axis and intercept on y-axis, suppose A is intercept on x-axis, then x by a plus y-intercept b, then I can say that x by a plus y by b is equal to 1. I also have my normal form. Normal form is x cos alpha plus y sine alpha is equal to the perpendicular distance, which is equal to p. So the major equations of line are y is equal to mx plus c, slope intercept form. Slope point form is y minus y1 is equal to m into x minus x1. 2-point form is x minus x1 upon x2 minus x1 is equal to y minus y1 upon y2 minus y1. Double intercept form, x by a plus y by b is equal to 1. And our normal form, x cos alpha plus y sin alpha is equal to 1. Slope or inclination of a line. So slope is given by letter m, which is also equal to your tan of theta, which is also equal to, if 2 points are given to me, then slope between those 2 points is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. And if equation of line is given to me in the form of ax plus by plus c is equal to 0, then that slope of line is also equal to minus of coefficient of x coordinate upon coefficient of y coordinate. So if my line is in the form of ax plus by plus c is equal to 0, then slope of that line is equal to minus of a by b. If I have to find angle between the two lines, that angle is given by the formula tan of theta is equal to m1 minus of m2 divided by 1 plus m1 m2. Obviously this should be a positive, therefore we are writing this in mod sign. Angle between two lines is tan of theta is equal to m1 minus m2 divided by 1 plus m1 m2. We know that if the two lines are parallel, then I can say that their slopes are going to be equal. So m1 is equal to m2. And if two lines are perpendicular, then I can say that m1 into m2 is equal to minus of 1, or m1 is a negative reciprocal of my other number. So m1 is equal to minus of 1 by m2. In 3D geometry, if two lines are perpendicular, then their dot product is 0. In 3D geometry, if two lines are perpendicular, their dot product should be 0, because dot product formula is going to be, suppose two lines are A and B, then A bar dot B bar is equal to AB cos of theta, and cos of 90 is 0. And if two lines are parallel, then I can say that the cross product is going to be 0 in that case. So for 3D, two parallel lines condition is cross product 0, and two perpendicular lines condition is dot product is 0. Perfect. Next, concurrency between between three lines. So what is concurrency? When multiple lines are going to pass through one particular point. So if two lines are passing through one point, we can say that these two lines are intersecting. However, if three or more lines are passing through the same point, we can say that all those lines are concurrent in nature. Therefore, the condition of concurrence is that your A1, B1, C1. Suppose the lines are in the form of X plus BY plus C, and the three lines are A1X plus B1Y plus C1. Second line is A2X plus B2Y plus C2. And third line is A3X plus B3Y plus C3. If their determinant is 0, I can say that the lines are concurrent in nature. Next, distance of, say, suppose one point from a line. Okay, there is no space, so we'll continue on next slide. Copy down this, and if you have any doubts in this much, you can ask. So these are very basic formulas which you've already seen earlier. You have 10 seconds, revise this quickly. Okay, so should we move on ahead? Just type in to let me know. Number of participants increased. Perfect. Okay, Ritik is saying yes. So we'll go to next slide. Distance of point from a line. Suppose there is one point x1, y1, z1. This point is, say, suppose P, and I have my line x plus by plus c is equal to 0. I have to find the shortest distance, the perpendicular distance of the point and the line. Then I can say that, suppose this distance is given as r, then r I'll open a new tab. It's not working in there. Perfect. Therefore, I can say that R is equal to mod of ax1 plus by1 plus cz1 divided by under root of a square plus b square. So distance of point from a line is ax1 plus by1 plus cz1 upon under root of a square plus z square. And if I have two parallel lines, suppose this is my line ax1 plus by1 plus c1 is equal to 0, and I have to find the perpendicular distance between these two lines. The other line is, say, suppose x2 plus by2 plus c2 is equal to 0. Then the distance d is equal to c2 minus c1 divided by under root of a square plus b square. Okay, perfect. So just copy down this. We'll see next slide. Okay, so let's see next. We'll revise some of the basic formulas. First is a distance formula. Distance formula is under root of x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square. Then we have a section formula, and section formula is for internal division. I can say that mx2 plus nx1 upon m plus n. Y coordinate would be my2 plus ny1 upon m plus n. For external division, instead of plus sign, there would be a minus sign. So the formulas would be mx2 minus nx1 upon m minus n. Let's see area of a triangle. Area of a triangle is nothing but half. You have your x1, y1, z1 coordinates, your x2, y2, and z2 coordinates, and you'll write 1, 1, 1 over here. So that is area of the triangle. Midpoint formula is x1 plus x2 upon 2. Centroid of a triangle is also easy. Centroid of a triangle is x1 plus x2 plus x3 upon 3. Centroid is where all your medians are going to meet. So centroid of a triangle is x1 plus x2 plus x3 upon 3. Y coordinate would be y1 plus y2 plus y3 upon 3. If you are considering just 2D figure, then we'll just consider x and y coordinates. Similarly, for suppose I have to find in center of a triangle. To get in center, suppose this is my figure, which is coordinates a, b, and c. A coordinates are x1, y1, z1. B coordinates are x2, y2, z2. C coordinates are x3, y3, z3. In center is where my angle bisectors are going to meet. Suppose they meet at this particular point, then formula for there is going to be, let side opposite to point A be denoted by small a, side opposite to B denoted by small b, side opposite to C denoted by small c. Therefore, I can say that in center is equal to this multiplied with x1, b multiplied with x2, and c multiplied with x3. So I will consider point C coordinate x3, and opposite to that is my side C. So pretty simple to understand. Incenter is going to be ax1 plus bx2 plus cx3, and in our denominator we are going to add all the sides a plus b plus c. Similar to incenter, we have orthocenter. Orthocenter is when all my altitudes are perpendicular to the other sides are going to meet. So whenever the point where all my altitudes are meeting, that point is known as orthocenter. And if I want to get the x coordinate, formula is going to be x1 into a for incenter, and if it's orthocenter, we have to take angle, so it would be tan of a, plus x2 into, instead of b, we are going to take tan of b, and x3 into tan of c, divided by, in our incenter we used a plus b plus c, in orthocenter we are going to use tan of those values, so tan of a, tan of b, and tan of c. Okay, so copy down this much. We'll see a few questions based on these formulas then. Is anyone having any doubts up till this point? Perfect. Is this PPT visible to everyone? Just type in yes to let me know. Direction cosines and direction ratios. Okay, Rutuk is saying yes. Perfect. If alpha, beta, gamma are the angles with the x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis, then I can say that these are my direction cosines given as L is equal to cos alpha, M is equal to cos beta, N is equal to cos of gamma. If opposite directions are considered, if OP has my direction cosines LMN, PO would have direction cosines minus L, minus M, minus N. If alpha, beta, gamma are the directions of line, these values are going to be between 0 and 180. And the direction cosine with x-axis. So I'm going to consider only x-axis over here. So L would be 1, M and N, as it is x-axis. X-axis is perpendicular to y and z-axis. Therefore, M would be cos of beta. So cos of 90, as it is perpendicular. So that would be 0. And cos of gamma. Gamma is angle with z-axis. Again, that would be 90. Therefore, cos 90 would be 0. Therefore, direction cosines of x-axis would be 1, 0, 0. y-axis would be 0, 1, 0, and z-axis would be 0, 0, 1. The direction cosines, if we are going to see them with respect to a perpendicular, with respect to a point P which has coordinates x, y, z, and the length of that point is r, then I can say that direction cosines are LR, MR, and MR. Okay, perfect. So consider point P making an angle alpha, having perpendicular at point M, distance of OP is R. Direction ratios are LMN. Therefore, I can say that this cos alpha is equal to x by R and this. Therefore, the coordinates of the point are going to be x by R, y by R, and z by R. Also, I know that L square plus M square plus N square is equal to 1. If I'm going to consider one point P, then I can say that L is nothing but x by R, y, M is y by R, and N is equal to z by R. Therefore, if L square plus M square plus N square is 1, I can also say that x square plus y square plus z square upon R square is equal to 1. Suppose in this particular case, here the point is starting from O to P, but instead of OP, suppose there is another line from point P to point Q. It is making, say, suppose an angle of alpha. Then let this distance, how can we get this distance? We can get this distance by using a distance formula. Let coordinates of point Q be x2, y2, and z2. Then I can say that PQ is nothing but distance between points P and Q. If I get this distance, let this distance be suppose denoted by small letter r, which is equal to, using distance formula, under root of x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square plus z2 minus z1 square. Therefore, in that particular case, my cos of alpha would be this point minus this point. So this point is, say, having x coordinate as x2, and this point is having x coordinate as x1. So in that case, cos of alpha would be x2 minus x1 upon the resultant value r, which is nothing but under root of x2 minus x1 square. Similarly, cos of beta, or I can say that is also equal to m, that would be equal to y2 minus y1 upon my r, or under root of y2 minus y1 the whole square. Similarly, you can get your z coordinate easily. The angles cos alpha, cos beta, and cos gamma are linked with this formula. Cos square alpha plus cos square beta plus cos square gamma is 1. And the relation between sine angles is sine square alpha plus sine square beta plus sine square gamma is equal to 2. If a point P is present in space, then the direction cosines of OP, as we have seen earlier, direction cosines cos of alpha are going to be x upon the distance which is present here. The point or the distance we want is OP. O is your origin and point P is a point in space. Therefore, I can say that cos of alpha is equal to x upon r. If I had 2 points P and Q, then cos of alpha would be x2 minus x1 upon r. The points are 2, 3, and minus 1. Therefore, first option, second, third, and fourth. Fourth option is similar. Also, under root of 2 square is 4, 3 square is 9, and minus 1 square is 1. So adding all these values, 9 plus 4, 13 plus 1, 4. I can say that answer number 4 is correct option. So just remember the formula. Cos of alpha is equal to x by r. If you are seeing distance between origin and one point, and if you are going to consider any 2 points in space, then the formula would be x2 minus x1 upon r. The direction cosines are given, and you have to find the value of c. We know that direction cosines are L square plus m square plus n square is equal to 1. Therefore, if these are my direction ratios, direction cosines Lm and n, addition of all these three would be 1. Therefore, I can say 3 upon c square is equal to 1. Taking square root on both sides, c is equal to plus or minus under root of 3. If alpha, beta, gamma are the angles made with your positive directions of coordinate axis, that is x, y, and z axis, then so there is a change over. You have to find values of cos square beta, alpha, and cos square gamma, and you know those values. It's equal to minus 1. The direction cosines of a line which is equally inclined to the coordinate axis. So it is given that the direction cosines are equally inclined, therefore their values should be same. I know that L square plus m square plus n square is equal to 1, and if L and m and n are equal, then I can say that 3L square is equal to 1. Therefore, L is equal to 1 by root 3. Therefore, if L is 1 by root 3, m and n would also be equal to 1 by root 3. So, answer number 1. OP is given as 26, and direction cosines of OP are given to you, which are this. You have to find the point P. So, we know that cos of alpha is equal to x upon r. Point P coordinates are x, y, and z. Therefore, I can say that x is nothing but r into cos of alpha. R is given to us in this particular case, OP, which is equal to 26. Cos of alpha is your direction cosine. Direction cosine is also provided, which is equal to L, which is equal to 3 by 13. Therefore, x coordinate would be 3 by 13 multiplied with 26. 13 1s are 13 2s are 26, so 3 2s would be 6. Similarly, you can find y and z coordinates. For answer number 2. Okay, is there any doubt until this question, till question number 5? If there is any doubt till question number 5, let me know, or we can move further. Okay. Type in yes if you want me to move further. Type in no if you have any doubts and you want to clarify that first. Okay, yes. Okay, so Omkar is here. Omkar, you are late today. Okay. Perfect. So we'll move to next. Introduction to direction ratios and angle between two lines. Direction ratios. So if I have direction cosines as L, M, and N, the ratio, so I can multiply L, M, and N with any constant term throughout. The ratio would still be same. And if that ratio is same, the particular number with which I am multiplying, lambda, or say suppose after multiplying by lambda, I'm going to get A is to B is to C, that ratio would be constant. That ratio is nothing but your direction ratio, A is to B is to C. As I said earlier, if you're multiplying your direction cosine by lambda, you will get lambda times L, lambda M, and lambda N. But if your direction ratios are in particular constant ratio, even if you are going to multiply them with a particular constant term, that ratio would also be constant. Therefore, you are going to get ABC, which is your direction ratio, and that direction ratios are going to be constant. Relation between your direction ratios and direction cosines. if A, B, C are your direction ratios, then your direction cosines are A upon complete resultant under root A square plus B square plus C square, B upon under root A square plus B square plus C square, similarly C upon this. So this is your cos of alpha, this is your cos of beta, and this is your cos of gamma. I can also say that this is your value of L, this is value of M, and this is value of N. So we won't go into the proof currently. You can also get direction ratios if you have 2 points from this formula, x2 minus x1, y2 minus y1, and z2 minus z1. We have already seen this formula when we were solving few questions in a 3D geometry. So we'll skip the theorem for now. Lagrange's identity says that this is equal to your determinant format a1b2 minus of a2b1 square, then b1c2 minus b2c1 square plus c1a2 minus c2a1 square. From this term, you are also going to get your value of cos of alpha. And that condition is required to get the condition for perpendicularity. So we'll see that in the next slide. If I have my direction ratios, direction cosines L1, M1, N1 and L2, M2, N2, then the angle between these two lines, say suppose that angle is theta, then cos of theta is equal to this L1, L2 plus M1, M2 plus N1, N2. And if these lines are perpendicular, then cos of 90, that would be equal to 0. Therefore, if this product L1, L2 plus M1, M2 plus N1, N2 is equal to 0, I can say that my lines are going to be perpendicular. Similarly, formula for sine of theta is L1 M2 minus of L2 M1 in under root whole square. So if this is your sine, and we have already found cos is your L1 N2 plus M1 M2 plus N1 N2, then tan is nothing but sine upon cos. We have also seen this condition when we were solving questions based on a 3D geometry, that the ratios are the ratios of your direction cosines would be constant if the lines are parallel. Therefore, I can say that L1 is to L2 is equal to M1 M2 ratio is equal to N1 N2 if my lines are parallel. Also, the converse is true, that if ratio is constant, lines are going to be parallel, and if lines are parallel, then the ratio is going to be constant. And for perpendicularity condition, as we have seen, perpendicular angle is 90 degrees and cos of 90 would be 0. We also know that cos of theta is L1 N2 plus M1 M2 plus N1 N2. Therefore, for perpendicular lines, this product should be equal to 0. So parallel lines, necessary condition is the direction cosines are equal. For perpendicular lines, necessary condition is that the product L1 M2 plus M1 M2 plus N1 N2 is equal to 0. If I have my direction ratios, then I can get angle by using this formula A1 A2 plus B1 B2 plus C1 C2 upon under root of A1 square plus B1 square plus C1 square multiplied with for the second direction ratios under root of A square plus B square plus C2 square. You have to find the projection of these 2 points on a line. So we can also get projection directly by using the formula L into x1, x2 minus x1, m into y2 minus y1 plus n into z2 minus z1. There is also another way to get the projection. Projection is nothing but your dot product. So you'll have to consider this point A, this is your point B. You'll first have to find AB bar. Then from your direction cosines, you can form equation of one line. And then you can say that AB bar, and suppose you get the equation of this line as CD, AB bar dot CD bar upon magnitude of CD bar. That would also give you the length of projection. However, easy formula would be directly to use this, which is L if you have your direction cosines L, M and N, so L multiplied with x2 minus x1, M y2 minus y1, and z2 minus z1. Equation of line which is passing through one particular point is x minus x1 upon your direction cosine L, y minus y1 upon M, and z minus z1 upon N. This is your similar to your 2-point form. X minus x1 upon x2 minus x1 is y minus y1 by y2 minus y1 is z minus z1 upon z2 minus z1. So let's see first question based on these formulas. You have to find the direction ratios of the line which is joining these points. So direction ratios, you have your point 1 which is x1 y1 z1. You have point 2 which is x2 y2 z2. Direction ratio formula x2 minus x1, y2 minus y1, z2 minus z1. So 4 minus 3, 1, 4 minus 4, 0, 4 minus 0, 4. So answer should be 104. Let's see second question. In second question, we have a direction cosines L1, M1, N1 and L2, M2, N2. And the angle is given as pi by 2. Pi by 2 means 90 degrees, and we know that cos of theta is equal to L1, L2 plus M1, M2 plus N1, N2. If I substitute pi by 2, that's 90 over here. Cos of 90 is equal to 0. Therefore, I can say that this particular ratio is 0. Therefore, my correct answer would be this. Direction cosines of a line where we have a direction ratios. So relation between direction cosine and direction ratio. Direction cosine is going to be a upon under root of a square plus b square plus c square. So in this case, values of ABC are 2, 3 and 6. Therefore, 2 square 4, 3 square is 9, 6 square is 36, 36 plus 4, 40 plus 3 square 9, 49, under root 49 is 7. So answer should be 2 by 7. Similarly, you can get y and z coordinates. Your c value should be 6 by 7. So answer is 2. Equation of line joining 2 points. So you can use your 2-point formula, x minus x1 upon x2 minus x1. That is also equal to y minus y1 upon y2 minus y1. Therefore, I can say x minus x1 is 1 in this case. X2 minus x1, so 2 minus 1 would be 1, which is also equal to. Similarly, you can get y and z coordinates. It is not necessary that you should consider this as a point 1 and this as a point 2. You can interchange, consider this as a point 1 and this as a point 2. That will also give valid answers. Therefore, if I say x minus, assume this to be x1, so that would be 2. x2 minus x1, that is 1 minus 2 minus 1. So equation of line can be this, x minus 1 upon 1. Equation of line can also be this, x minus 2 upon minus 1. So both these answers are correct answers. So in this particular case, which is the equation of line? As we have seen, x minus 1 upon 1, this is also equation of line. X minus 2 upon minus of 1, this is also equation of line. If I take the other point of this, other point is going to be y minus y1. So y1 in this case is minus 1. So y minus minus 1 would be y plus 1 upon y2 minus 1. So 2 minus of 1. So that would give me minus of 3. 2 minus minus 1. So that is equal to plus 3. Similarly, z minus z1. So that is z minus of 4 divided by z2 minus z1. 3 minus 4 is minus 1. Now observe this equation of line and this equation of line. This is equation of line which is equal to this. There is a difference of minus sign throughout in these ratios. If I multiply by minus sign, I'm going to get this term. If I multiply minus over here, minus into minus would be plus, which gives me this term. If I multiply by minus and that minus is given to denominator, I'm going to get this term. So it looks different because it is multiplied throughout by minus sign. However, the ratios are same. Hence, I can say that equation of this and this line is same. Similarly, if you check these two lines, this line and this line, these two lines are same. However, this line is only multiplied throughout with the ratio of -1. Therefore, if we multiply this by -1, we get this. So which is the equation of line which is passing through these 2 points? Correct answer is all the 3 of them, or I can say all of the above. So length of projection, we directly have a formula L x2 minus x1, M y2 minus y1, and N z2 minus z1. Applying the formula, I can get length of my projection. So we'll stop over here. Tomorrow we'll see few questions of straight lines and direction cosines and direction ratios which have appeared in IIT JEE and NEET exam. Thank you everyone.